everyone, and welcome back to Ashley Main Makes, or welcome to today. I am back live streaming, and we are making the Charm Patterns Lizabeth Raglan top. This is from Gertie's Patreon online, and this was actually voted on by you guys, my lovely subscribers. So there was a couple other patterns up for option this week, but this is the one you guys picked. So I was actually sort of surprised about because I'm doing a lot of charm patterns, pretty much all charm patterns since I started these lives. So, but yeah, so I'm back from a few weeks of hiatus. And yes, we're going to be sewing again this week. Oh, there's a couple people trickling in. Please say hello down below. I'd love to hear from you guys, where you're from and what you're working on this evening. I'd love to hear if you guys are sewing along with me this evening, working some other craft project or something, even doing dishes or having Sunday night dinner. So yeah. Oh, hello, Vicky. Thanks so much for tuning in. Give it a couple more seconds here. Looks like we're just coming in. I know I've been off for a few weeks here. I was actually just on holiday with my family. And yeah. So I know this is like, give it a few minutes here just because, like I say, we haven't had one of these in a bit. Not as organized as usual. Hi, Crystal. Thanks for joining us, guys. All right, so I'll get started. So basically this top that we're working on today is a raglan top, but it has a big fold back collar, as you can kind of see in the thumbnail that I posted. And then, but it doesn't have any buttons, so it sort of gives the idea of doing like a button down without buttons. So it's got a collar. I'm making the 3/4 length version with the cuffs, just like I showed in the thumbnail, or like just like they showed in the thumbnail. I'm making that exact version. I will warn you though, I am going to be going a little off script. I've like looked at her construction method thoroughly, and I was just like, there's got to be an easier way to do this. So I'm going to be forging my own path. It might be a huge mistake, but you know, so just so you know, like I'm going totally off script probably of most of her instructions. But yeah, so to get that out of the way. Oh, hello, Psycho Cat. Nice to see you again. Yay! Yeah, working on a quilted corset. Wow, that sounds cool. Yeah. All right. So let me actually get the stuff going. Can you even see it? Oh yeah. So I've got my serger in the background too today, since I've got the cat phones are back this week. I think we're gonna stick with the cat phones. So yeah, so I thought I'd try and do a little serger because a lot of this project revolves around the prep, in order to get a good result. And so she has you serge in between. So I'm probably going to do my darts and serge. And so I thought I'd show you that process because I've been doing it a lot lately, as a way of working on my projects. So, and a way of finishing raw edges. So yeah. Now let me just, oh, crap is behind the chat. All right. I'm just going to double check that I've got this thing just rethreaded here while my bobbin before we got going. I'm just gonna double check that everything's working okay. Here. Do a little bit of a test chunk here. So, and I'm working with today, I've got this beautiful yarn dyed linen. So, and I haven't made this pattern before, so this might be, again, a huge mistake, but I have a sneaking suspicion it's going to be alright, because it's a raglan, so I don't have to worry about the shoulder fit. It's a little bit oversized. I sort of held it up to myself just to double check, like, vaguely it looks like it will fit, so but yeah, I actually really love this. This is another one from Fabric Mart. Really hold it up here so you can see kind of the two shades of yellow in there. First, kind of my favorite shades of yellow, that sort of buttercup color. I'm really hoping this turns out really well. I'm actually making it to go, as part of this capsule that I've been working on. Yeah, so I'm really hopeful that it's going to turn out. Probably should have made a test one, but I'm pretty hopeful. I'm pretty standard in Gertie's sizing now, so let me just double check that this is working okay. Oh, I didn't realize my nails sort of blend with this fabric too. Hopefully that's you guys can still sort of see what's going on. Fingertips like blend with the fabric. What happens when it's your favorite color? Hi, Carol. Hi, Urchik. Yeah, my time away was good. Yeah, we went to New Orleans actually, which was really cool. I had never been before, so it was a lot. It was a lot being on vacation now and being in a busy place like that. Since COVID and everything. I haven't really been in a place like that, but it was really cool to see all the historic buildings and everything. Alright, so it looks like we're good to go there. Let me grab, so there's 2 places for darts. So I have do these first. Right. Yeah, so it's got 2 darts, so one of which is at the top. Let me see that. Top of the sleeve head here, instead of doing like a gather, it's got just a nice little dart, which is really cool. And then just like bust darts. But yeah, New Orleans was really good. And it was really nice to see my family. My family came down to see us, so yeah, it was good to spend time with my family. Get a little time away. Not really been able to do that in a while, just with work and everything, so that was kind of nice. So the way I usually do this when I'm doing darts is I'll line it up basically through the dart with my pin. So you can kind of see that. So yeah, I just thought I'd walk you guys through. We're gonna go, I don't know. I am wearing this was the dress that we made in the last few live streams. That was like the disaster dress. So I am wearing it just to show you guys. Um I did finish it. It was good. It was a lot. I think I was mostly just stressed about getting it done. But yeah, there's definitely a few things I would change about this dress. That I made. But it's done. And it's basically turned into an oversized hoodie now. Like a very glamorous hoodie for around the house. I suspected it would, but hey. Alright. Like a few more people are trickling in. Please say hello down below. I would love to hear from you guys. I know I've been back in a couple weeks, so yeah. We're all matched up there. Let me just pin this other one while we're sitting too. Before I do that, then we can both at once. I just love this linen. The more I look at it, I got it out earlier, and I was like, do I really want to make this into this top? Having a bit of, I was like, maybe I should make it something else, but just going for it. Just going for it. But, you know, first stream back, I think I am going to take my time tonight. Relax. Have a chill stream, talking to you guys. You know, I feel like I was a little frantic last stream that we had. And that's part of why I had such difficulty, was I was just trying to power through so hard. So, you know, slow down, take a deep breath, enjoy the sewing. You know, now that we're back, get my brain on. I was definitely being like, whoa, getting back into the streets, the swing of things today. So, you know, yeah, I've got a few main channel videos that are like half done that all need to be edited. So, yeah, I just have to get my YouTube brain back on here a little bit after vacation. I don't know why. It's like you kind of have to get your brain back on, but all right, there we go. So we're all pinned. Pin through. And throw that there for now. A little bit of limited space here with the two machines, but all right. We are going to so I've got my machine on a pretty small stitch length for doing this. It's my general preferred method of doing darts. That's why it's going a little slow. But then I'm just going to stitch right off the end. I do have my nippers today. All things good. I have a seam ripper and my nippers today. I was feeling very accomplished. And I actually threaded the machine with the right color. So we're already ahead of the game, really. Ooh. Just knitting and waiting on a German apple cake to finish baking. That sounds awesome. Could go for some German apple cake, honestly. There we go. So all I'm doing is I just separated my, kinda, sorta. Again, the nails really blending with the fabric today. They're like the identical color. Anyway, so all I'm gonna do is just like carefully knot this off. You guys have seen me do this a number of times. You can't have big boobs and not have done a dart like times, but gonna lightly knot this off. You don't want to make this too tight, like you don't want to pull it too close to the fabric and create a pucker. So I'm just kind of careful to pull it a little bit away. Tails off. Oh. Sorry guys, I'm having allergies again. Can't escape in Texas. There's one little shoulder dart down, and I haven't even pressed it yet, but it's pretty. We're not gonna really have a pucker there. Once I press it, it's gonna be really nice. Again, just look at this fabric. It's pretty. If yeah, I wish I would have bought more of this. They're out of this yellow already. When I ordered it, they were like pretty much out of stock once I ordered it, but I've gotten a few other shades of this yarn dyed linen from Fabric Mart before, so maybe they'll have it again. I notice sometimes they have it again, but I would really recommend it. I've made another dress out of this too, and it's just like really lovely. It's like a little bit lighter weight, Like, I probably wouldn't make pants or something out of it. It's definitely like a shirting weight, but really pretty. Yeah. She said you mentioned getting fabric from Fabric Mart. Do you usually have good luck ordering from them? Yes, I usually do. It's one of my favorite places to order fabric from, actually. Because it's mostly dead stock, so it's usually really good quality for the price. I will say, like, sometimes you don't know because it doesn't give you like because it is dead stock, they don't give you exact weights on stuff. So sometimes I find the weight might be a little bit different than what you think it's going to be, but um, it's usually nicer than what I think it is when I get it. So that's always a good sign. Like I've never really been disappointed. Like maybe it's not the exact weight I thought it was going to be, but it's always like you know very nice quality. So yeah, it's usually where I prefer to order from. It's a little bit tricky because, like I say, it's dead stock. So if you need something really specific, it's a little hard to order from there. Sometimes they usually have the linens. That's something they carry all the time. But yeah, like if you see something, you gotta kind of pick it up right away. I think they have a 60% off everything sale this weekend too. So if you're looking to try and order something, I sound like an ad, but I mean Fabric Mart. I did tag you. If you're watching, please sponsor me. I spend much money with you. Um, but yeah. So I would say like if you see something, snatch it. Um, I can kind of see what they have, but it's harder for kind of standard stuff. You don't always have the same thing all the time. The right piece. Hold on. Oh, thanks, Psycho Cat. Yeah, I just love this. Isn't it pretty? Just like so into it. It's like I thought it was a little bit more mustardy, and so I was like, well, it'll be fine. Wasn't the color I thought, but then I'm looking at it again, going, I actually love this. Hopefully, this top turns out cute. Uh, these are the bust art. So as you can see, this piece is really funky. So this is actually the front here. So and the collar wraps around. So it's a really funky shaped piece with that raglan sleeve and that collar piece. So the construction is definitely a bit funky. Oh, and I forgot to. No, I haven't forgot yet. We'll do that next. Maybe we'll do that first. So, one of the things that she has you do on this, because this is such an angle and you're having to turn there, you are supposed to do some reinforcement stitching here. Quite sure. I didn't draw in the lines. I find it so hard to cut those lines out of the pattern though. Like I can mark the dot with my awl, but then it's hard to guys. Get the pattern piece back out. Oh. Let's just I'll be fine. Famous last word. All we're trying to do. Ooh. Are you like? Oh, but I would have need to be on the other side of that, wouldn't I? Okay. You did this to me on the pinafore too. That's one thing I don't always think. Sometimes I don't think her construction methods are the easiest. I think I left the collar piece out in the thing when I was cutting the interfacing. Of course I did. We're already off the rails, guys. Yeah, that should be fine because we want to be within the thing. Yeah, I want to be just shy of that anyway. So I think that's fine. We'll go from there. Well, this one, the dot didn't even transfer. If my loving fiance sees this and he could bring from the dining other case. Be fine though. Because I just need to be shy of it because you're gonna clip this corner. So because in order to bend around that, obviously that isn't letting me go right to the corner there. So all you're gonna do, flip to corner there. Not through it, preferably. That allows me to be able to bend around that corner because this collar piece is attached. So that's definitely the most difficult part of this pattern is just like the way that's done. All right. Okay. Do the same other corner here. Allows me to turn the corner. All right. Do the bust starts. Simple. So again, I'm just to match them up. To stick my pin through the front of here, and then through its opposing side. Get it nice and matched up. A little out of practice, guys. A little rusty. Uh, okay. Like, let me know too. I know I'm like just doing darts here. Probably seen dart a lot at this point, but let me know too if there are other patterns you would like me to do on this live. You know, bit of a discussion. I was sort of surprised that the closet core didn't win. I mean, it was second place, but I think I would like to do probably some of the cashmere knit patterns. I was thinking of doing possibly the Alcott dress, which is the knit dress with the wrap over, or I think I put the not Stamic. What do you call that? Concord. Put the cashmere Concord on there. Um, Maybe another Turner dress or something. The only reason I didn't put the Alcott on the vote list was I need to get some fabric for it because it needs. I didn't realize this, but it takes like 5 yards of fabric, which is a lot. I don't have 5 yards of knit just like hanging around, so I had like 3.5 yard cuts for the Turner, but I didn't have the 5 yards, so I'll have to order something special for that. Yeah. Since my fabric is the same on both sides, how do you mark the front and back? Do you use pins or letters? So in this case, I just marked. All my notches are on the back side. So where I marked with marker is the back side. All my little notches. I generally don't like to cut them out if I don't have to, especially on a fabric that like this that's kind of loosely woven. I will occasionally just mark like a big front on them, like I'll mark them on the front with a big kind of X on them. With marker too if I get really confused, but or it's like bleeding through a lot, but that's usually what I do. I don't usually mark it with pins unless I have to. This one is really close though. This one's borderline exactly the same on both sides because of the yarn dye. So if I get it messed up, I'm not that worried about it, honestly. But yeah, usually I just mark it with like front. I do use a lot of these washable markers as my main form of marking, just because I think it's easiest to see. Unless I'm working on dark fabric, but there are a lot of dark fabric, so it's not usually an issue. Yeah. I don't know what other people do. Probably. I know some people do sticky notes, and I've tried that before, but I am a gremlin apparently, and my sticky notes flew off, and then I was confused, and it was a whole thing. off here. They're off. Oh, I got some off, but I did. I'll try that again. Hopefully that answers your question though, Crystal. Thanks for asking that. Oh, why is it? Having issues. Getting back into the swing, right? Taking it easy, relaxing, it at a reasonable pace, right? Ah, there we go. Another thing I was going to ask you guys about too is now that I'm back, I was thinking about having a few other people in the sewing community and asking them if they would like to be on the line. So if you have any suggestions of someone you'd like to see, I mean, sky's the limit. I'll do my best, obviously, but yeah, I thought it might be fun to have some other people on. Um, yeah, so let me know if that's something like it's similar to the one I did with Serena, only hopefully with less technical difficulties. And we might talk to Serena again, but coming back on one night too. I think that could be fun. So we have some special things in the works. So have I tried CNT patterns? Easy 3Z jacket pattern. Haven't tried it yet. I have never even heard of that pattern company, which is sort of surprising for me at this point. I'll have to go and check them out. But yeah, I have no idea. Haven't heard of them. To go look. I was surprised. There's always someone new popping up. I think I've heard of them all, and then I'm like, have you heard this one? Everyone's making it, and I'm like, what? What are you talking about? What are we making? What are we doing? What's happening? Chilling, chilling. And Lady Rebecca. Yeah, that's a good thought. I hadn't actually thought about her, but I mean, maybe. I always talk to her. Thing is, I can always ask, and what's the worst they can do is say no, right? But yeah, no, I think that'd be really good. That's a good suggestion. I'll have to reach out and see, if she'd be interested. Perfect. How did that happen? Careful. Alright. I keep saying, right? Hopefully it's alright. Eventually that'll snowball, but till then. Stephanie Canada, perhaps? Yes, I was thinking about asking her for sure. I know she's like really busy right now, but thought about reaching out to her and seeing. Because obviously we've actually talked before. Um, so yeah, I'll have to go see. I have to ask her maybe when she's back from her. I know she's on. I believe she's on tour still right now. But she's hopefully doing another challenge here shortly, so probably do that when it comes up again. I know that's like how most of you found me initially. So probably do. If she's got another challenge, I'll have to buckle up and do it. Should be good times though. Like slightly stressful, but it really didn't need to be that bad. I feel like I got a lot more confidence from that project for sure. I was like, oh yeah, this is fine, I can do it. Gunter. I don't even know who that is. What do they do? I'll look them up. Putting together the wish list, why not, right? I'll have to go check out their content. What kind of content do they make? Alright. So we got that. Got that. Push this as far as I can here. Did clean off my desk somewhat, but you know. Like I said, I'm a goblin, so. Alright. So, as per usual, have my ham out here. Yeah. Whack it into shape a little bit. It's a little. Why it's like gotten a little bit out of shape. Must have gotten squished. These are priceless though. If you are a sewist, especially a plus size one, having a ham is like absolutely necessary. You can make them too. I know there's a bunch of old patterns for them. This one my Nana actually made. It's filled with sawdust, so we're pushing these darts towards the back, and the back is always the side with the two notches. That's pretty standard for pattern making. So back is the two notch side, front is the one notch side. So round. Press that. Place. It's always important to give darts really good press because again that helps to get it so that you don't have that bubble point. Seems like it wouldn't, but doing it now kind of helps it remember later. Kind of a weird thing, but so like that. See, that's nice and flat. Cool thing about linen too, working with linen, is like the more I wash this, the more your seams start to kind of blend into the fabric. So eventually it's just like you'll barely be able to see these darts, you know? Again, making sure pressing it back. Full dart side. And if you were hanging out, I would really appreciate if you could like the stream. That always helps me out, helps people find it while we're going. I feel like that's important to ask. The other thing I was gonna say too is if you check below and you haven't hit the bell, that's really helpful too, so that you guys will see when I'm it'll notify you of stuff on my channel. So that's helpful when we're doing these lives for sure. If you like seeing the live pop up, that'll give you a notification. So, just doing the YouTuber thing. But yeah, I would really appreciate that. If you guys would make sure that bell is rung because looks like on my back end that barely anyone rings the bell. So, super helpful for getting notified for these live streams. Try and not bug you guys too much, so. Not like putting out stuff all the time. I think I'm supposed to press these down, and I press them up. I didn't even do that. Oh yeah, I could press. So one of the things that Cashmerette Patterns always has you do is actually press your darts up. And I found that actually creates like a really nice effect because you aren't getting a shadow then, like you aren't getting weight kind of below the bust, so it does give you a nice like lifted and like doesn't add extra weight to your bust, if that's a thing. So it always has you press them up. And I actually do think it matters. Like it does make them look better. So if I can help it, I try and remember to flip them so that they're up. In this case, this works because it's already has enough space to be cut up or down. Like it's not that big of a dart. But sometimes if I'm making something more fitted, I'll check and press it the other way. Because I think it looks nicer. Like if you have a bigger bust. If you have a smaller bust, it's probably better the other way, honestly. But for a fuller bust, it looks really nice. So that's my personal preference. I do really like Cashmerette's construction. They do a really good job of kind of the details construction. Got a bit of a press the other way too. As you can see, I've got a little bit of an edge here. So just give that an extra little press here right at the point. Make sure it's really nice and smooth. Better. That. I'll get that pucker. Minimize that pucker as much as we can. Like doing stuff like that is the most important to giving you like a nice result in the end. Kind of why I thought we'd go through it today. Like I know this is like a simpler project. A, I'm like feel like I'm out of sorts because I'm fresh back, but also B, like helps you. Thought this would be a good one to go through, like giving yourself a really nice crisp result. Oh, the other thing I was gonna like say is like today, as I was cutting this guy out this afternoon, I was watching the first few episodes of the new season of Marvelous Miss Maisel. Mrs. Maisel. Didn't know if any of you guys had been watching it or if you were like done because it's the last season. I thought season 4 was a little weak. But I was actually seems like they have it a bit more back on track for season 5. I know it's like the final season, so kind of enjoying that. Um I know a little while ago, I think it was the Bernadette Banner showed it off. I think it's the like Costume Theater Guild put out a pattern, like put out a Mrs. Maisel pattern of like her first black dress. I had been debating about making that, honestly. Um, but I really like, we're getting into the 60s now. It's like 1961, which is fun because I've been, you know, might be working on some stuff around that era. So it was like fun to see, um, kind of like moving into the 60s, early 60s. So they're doing a good job of like kind of transitioning it. I don't know, it's fun, but didn't know if anybody had thoughts on that. It's, yeah, I love she's got this like sequin mint green number. I think that's really pretty. And then like she talks about like her sitting skirts when she's like, anyway, it's the whole thing. But basically it's like she's got this beautiful like plaid flannel skirt ensemble, full skirt. Oh, you've been watching new season of Call the Midwife. Yeah, I haven't been keeping. I think I want to say I'm a season behind on that. I was watching that for the longest time. I sort of got out of it a little bit, but it is such a good series. Like Call the Midwife. Like if anyone hasn't watched that, it's got the same actress in it that was in like the new Emma. Um, and I loved her. I don't think she's on it as much now. They've kind of switched the cast over a bit as Call the Midwife has gone on, but that's really fun with the blonde's name, Trudy. I probably have it wrong. I haven't watched the series in a while. Okay. Now, what I'm doing. Sorry, guys. First the time we're bringing the serger out on a live. Woo! Oh, come now. Sit over there. This guy out of the way. Bring my serger out. So this is my Juki serger. I think I've showed it off a couple of times, but on the main channel, but not as much because I often just use it to prep. Without binge watching, I would get a lot less sewing done. That's awesome. Trixie, that's what it. Yeah, yeah. I think Trixie's still on. I think she's one of the only original characters that's still on, isn't she? Um, yeah. I don't usually watch TV when I'm sewing, just because I find it. I don't know. I do. Well, not true. I watch a lot of YouTube while I'm sewing. That's for sure. Like I'll watch, especially like costuming drama that's got longer videos. I was Serena's videos, several of those. But a lot of the time I just listen to podcasts or I'll listen to audiobooks. That's kind of my favorite thing. Although I haven't found any good audiobooks that I'm interested in a while. So if any of you guys have recommendations on that, um, I was listening to one of my other friends turned me onto this other series called Articles of Interest. I think you guys would like. It's all about the history of different fashion things. And they just also had one on the history of preppy style, which was kind of cool. Um, so yeah, that's really good. I like pretty much binged that when I was working on all the stuff for my trip. Yeah, Fred's still on. Yeah, and the sisters are still on. Yeah. What else have I been listening to? Well, I've been listening to this other podcast on the history of pirates that's totally unrelated to sewing in any manner, but that's really fun. I really like that one too. Eh, when's my up a little bit? These are all one of the things with this serger is you have to make sure everything's clicked in really well. The top here. Otherwise it gets angry. Okay. Test this out on my scrap piece here, so I'm only doing one layer. Yeah, that looks pretty good actually. First time's the charm. What the heck? Alright, I've never gotten that lucky with the serger before. That's nice. Getting better with it. Getting better with it. We're slowly becoming friends. We're not quite there yet, but we're still uncertain of each other. Oh, Bear was interesting. Listen, Alan Rickman diaries were wonderful. Yeah, I was Beyond the Wind. I don't know what that is, but I'll have to look. Yeah, Articles of Interest is really good. It was put out by. They started it with. One of the bigger podcasts she started on as part of, and then they moved it to its own thing. It's really quite good. So I am making the kind of full top version with the 3/4 length sleeve and the cuff is what I'm making. So basically, what was pictured in making the version that was pictured in the thumbnail. Um, so like Susie's version. So Tom Felton's book. Yeah, I've actually heard that's good. Yeah, it was kind of like I don't know, like I was kind of following the whole spare controversy, I guess is what I would say. Like I don't know. I am like pseudo interested in the royals. Like I'm, being from Canada, I'm like sort of I feel like I do have like a pseudo stake in it. Um but but yeah, but not well, not really, but like they're still in charge of Canada. And it's been fascinating to like watch the whole thing because I really don't. It's so hard. Like I don't think anybody really likes Prince Charles, and it's just like I don't know. Like part of me is like they knew what they were getting into, but like they had to know that the British press was going to be terrible. I just don't think they truly knew how terrible the British press was going to be. So I'm originally from Calgary in Canada, is like near the mountains. It's east of the mountains, above Montana. Oh, that's good. You love your Lizabeth Raglan. Yeah, that's good. I'm glad. Have sleeve on your next one. Yeah, I'm really hoping that this is going to be awesome. I do like kind of the looser. I know it's like kind of seems like it's semi-controversial, but I do love kind of the looser fitting stuff from Gertie because I'm just not like a in tight person. So I was excited about this one. Yeah, still part of the British Dominion. Yeah, it's technically the Dominion of Canada. So, we still like I mean it's pretty much ceremonial at this point, but all the things are um, all laws are still passed through a representative of the well, I guess it's king now, not queen. Oh, you're near Edmonton. That's awesome. Yeah. Wow, that's weird. Alright, cool. In my home province. But yeah, I don't know. I was like, I don't know. I mean, the whole royal family thing, it's certainly fascinating to watch. I just, I think everyone just loved the queen so much. It's gonna be a hard transition. So, okay, I didn't even explain what I'm doing. So all I'm doing is I'm just finishing the raw edges here. I'm just gonna be finishing, what am I gonna be finishing? I'm gonna be finishing all the way up to this cut point, I believe. She does in the instructions have you finish these points later. But I think for my sanity and just because I am making this for the first time, I'd like to be able to take it apart easily if it's not quite right. So I'm just going to finish all these edges here. This is just a way of keeping it from fraying, again, because it's a linen and it'll fray pretty easily. So I want to make sure everything's finished really well. So that's all I'm doing, and then I'm doing this after I put in the darts, because then that way it's just tied in already with the dart in there. So normally I would probably do most of this off camera, but I just thought today I would kind of walk you through the full thing. Just if, I don't know, I feel like I don't show this in my main videos either, so. Ooh. Starburst L'Amour yesterday, and you're happy to wear the Raglan tomorrow. Yeah. I really, now that she's come out with the Starburst in the plus size, I think I have to make it at some point. I do really like it. That one's probably on the list. That one would be a good one for the live, actually. But I haven't quite figured out like what kind of colors I want to do. So, Maria with Strinkinicity. Yeah, I've actually, yeah, I was talking to her a while ago. Yeah, yeah, I might have to reach out to her too. She would be a good one to have on. That's a really good idea. Did I pull a thread before I started? What do you mean? Like my serger? Like holding this back a little bit? Sometime? Yeah, I mean, no. Should I have? Probably, but I don't find I have that much issue with my serger. I do find it sometimes when I'm doing this on my machine, my sewing machine, but for this I'm just trimming off the loose thread here. Oh, heard that you need to pull. Yeah, okay, so that is the. So, yeah, so that. Okay. So, the historical costumers are crazy. I love them, but they're crazy. So, yes, you can draw a thread to straighten off your fabric. That is one way of doing it. This one, because it's curved on the side, I did not. Like you can see, there's like a hip curve and a waist curve there. It's a subtle one, but it's not a straight line at any rate. And also you can see the grain pretty easily in this fabric because it's yarn dyed. So I was able to line my piece up pretty well. Now you definitely can do that. Often when I'm working with linen or cotton, personally I will just nip it and rip it if I do need a straight piece. So When did I show that? I'm sure I've shown it before. I know I'm showing it in my next video where you just clip and it'll rip along the grain. And because I'm sewing by machine and because I have seam allowances, pretty big seam allowances arguably, that little bit of warping along the seam allowance that's created by the ripping is not a big deal. And I'm finishing off my seams. So, to each his own. I'm not going to lose my eyesight over pulling a thread, to be honest with you. I don't have the patience for that, but again, to each his own. I wouldn't let that deter you from sewing with linen. It's not the end of the world. It's, it is shiftier than cotton, for sure. It will shift more. But I wouldn't say it needs to be lined up. I wouldn't say it needs to be lined up any more than anything else, right? Really. Like rayon or anything else. As long as you're lining it up as close to the grain as you can, generally, you're probably fine. Your whole shirt's not going to warp off grain. And for those square pieces, I would just rip them. Because, again, I'm not going to spend an hour drawing threads. But I'm also not trying to do tiny seam allowances by hand either. So, I always shake my head when I see them do it. And I'm like, this is why it takes you 300 hours to make something. I just don't have the patience for that, to be real. And working with linen is lovely. Linen is just a lovely fabric. It does wrinkle for sure, but, I don't know. At this point, I kind of embrace the wrinkle, and if you catch it right out of the dryer, like I wash and dry my linen because I like the soft texture of it. But if you catch it right out of the dryer, like when it's warm and you just shake it out and hang it up, usually it's pretty low wrinkle at that point. I did iron it before I cut it out today, and there are obviously still some wrinkles in it, but I don't know. You can either embrace the linen or not, too. That's kind of another personal point of whatever. I don't know. You're welcome. Again, probably a sassy opinion. Got a pretty sassy opinion from me there, but, just the truth. Let's be real. But yeah, this basically, this shirt I don't think has a straight line in it, really. Because even this is curved here, too, where the collar comes out. So you can see where I lined it up. The yarn dye does make it really easy to line it up on grain, though, because you can kind of see what's happening. So, might be not a bad place to start, honestly, with linen. But I find I can see the grain a lot better than I can on, say, a cotton. So, a little shifty. I mean, you can always starch it, too. Linen takes really well to starch. Like spray starch or liquid starch when you're ironing. Just using a touch of spray starch when you're ironing it out to cut it out. That's always nice. I was a bit lazy today, honestly, with it. But I was like watching Spencer and I didn't want to pause. Let's be real. That's kind of what happened. And go find my can of spray starch, but that's normally what I do. And I'll just cut it out on grain that way. And you can measure too. I don't know if you guys were. I don't know how. It seems like everyone was taught to sew a little bit differently, but you can actually measure off the side of your fabric with a ruler. Like a quilting ruler is the best, but you can measure from like your selvage edge to where your grain line is in your pattern piece and just make it sure it's the same length, kind of top and bottom. That'll give you a really straight piece as well if you're having trouble eyeballing it. or like you're not lining it up with a salvage. Like I actually did do that when I was cutting it out today. Just because there was no, like there's this straight line, but then this piece curves out. So I couldn't really line it up on the side. So I did measure like to where the grain line was. What was I doing? Oh yeah, okay. So I didn't serge this part because that's the collar and that's all going to get tucked in together. Same as this bottom. That's going to get hemmed in. So we're going to do it like that. Just going to cruise along here. Feel free to ask me questions because this is just kind of, this is a good time to ask me questions because I'm just serging all my edges here. Can you guys even see that okay? I feel like the light on the serger is really bright. We'll see if the channel earns enough money. We might save up for a GoPro so I can get a second camera in here. But we're not there yet. Like there's been quite an investment lately in this, so but, yeah, I do appreciate it though. We'll get there. We'll get there. I'll put that as one edge, two edge. Well, that one got a little off the rails, but fine. All I care about is that it doesn't fray. It's not going to fall apart on me. Not gonna fall apart on me. Like we haven't gotten very far tonight. What time is it? After 8. Yeah, 32 pieces. She was talking about 32 pieces in the starburst skirt. Yeah, kind of the other reason I haven't made it. It's so much cutting, which is like my least favorite process in sewing if I had to pick one. But I meant to look up how much fabric it takes for the contrast because I feel like you might be able to do something fun with scrap there. But yeah, I just don't know what colors I want, like, with the Starburst. I feel like I do want to make it, but I'm undecided. And part of me wants to make, like, a matching blouse of some sort to the top of the Starburst. Right, got that piece done, the 2 fronts. Cuffs don't need to be done, but the sleeves and then the back needs to be done here. How's the serger noise, by the way? Is it like too annoying? I actually think it's not that bad. Probably seems like it's about the same. It's only slightly louder than my sewing machine, but 2 sets of 8 panels, top and bottom. Yeah, because they have you run it to a point. Right. Leave here. It's fine. Yeah, I'm sure it's not that bad actually. Like, I think it would be pretty okay, all things considered. It'd be better if you did it out of like a cotton or something, so you didn't have to finish all the edges. I was actually thinking like an my favorite, which is that Essex cotton linen blend. That's always like one of my favorite things to make a skirt out of. Like a full, especially a full skirt like that. So I thought about maybe using. I think I've got some green kicking around, so maybe some green and a brown, something like that. For like a starburst skirt could be fun. Maybe like a red. Yes. But yeah, but then you could just use your pinion shears like to cut it out. Maybe not cut it out, but or at least finish off the edges. So you wouldn't have to worry about serging them all or doing something like that. Them all in some manner. Seems like a lot. So this is the back here. So again, all I'm doing is the edge and then the side here. I'm not doing the top, little top edge or the bottom, because again, those are going to get caught in the collar and the hem. Oh, I meant your serger. Yeah. Hey, that's okay too. Oh, I'm glad that's not too annoying. Means I might be able to do some more. Like I say, I've been thinking about doing some knit projects because I have made just to like easier on the live definitely to do a project that I've made before. And those ones I have, and they're like pretty easy projects. And well, I have made the Alcott before. I want to make the Alcott though, but again, it's a knit project. The fitting is not exactly like if I do my standard like cashmere small shoulder. That's pretty much probably all I'll need on there. For the knits, because knits are pretty forgiving. So, because I feel like if I want to do something with a lot of adjustments, it's better to show it in the full videos just so you guys can see. Because I know that's like, I don't know. I feel like when you're doing plus size, that's really important. Is all the, because you know everybody's different, and I feel like going through the adjustment process, especially when I feel like a lot of people have the same, you know, some of the same adjustments as I do, like say a full bust adjustment or something like that. I don't know. I feel like I like to show that. I don't know how important that is to people generally. Seems like to me that's the most interesting part though. Like I feel like that's, I don't know, what I like to see anyway, because I feel like not a lot of people show their adjustments. It's just like all of a sudden there's a magical garment that fits perfectly and or doesn't in a lot of cases, funnily enough, on YouTube. There's just all of a sudden a garment. They don't really talk about how they got from A to B. So I think that's like adjust patterns where I need more adjustments. I feel like that's like main channel channel projects versus this is more like construction, I guess. I feel like I sort of whiz through the construction a little bit with the main channel videos. Like I'll speed it up a little bit. Oh, good. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Elizabeth says I love watching fit adjustments. Yeah. Yeah. So that's why I like showing that on like the main videos, and then these ones, it's more just like projects where it's either already adjusted, like I've done a main video on it already, and you can see the construction more in detail, or it's like, you know, or it's like a more simple project where I don't really need to show a barrel of adjustments. So, you know, it's kind of balancing that. Oh yeah, okay. Around to the sleeves, just about done with the serger. I might get up and put the serger like back after we get through this part. Put down. That'd be bad. Talk about having like 4 strings tangle if I didn't have my foot down. I feel like we're not getting very far tonight. It's mostly just like the prep work, but I don't know. Again, I don't feel like it's something I show that often, so I thought it might be a good project to do it on. Because it's mostly prep work, like, realistically, except for this funky collar piece. That'll give us the ability to kind of go over it more in detail over the next couple live streams. Okay, good, yeah. I wish designers would realize that as a plus, we don't typically go from a 50 bust to a 40 waist. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I was really glad that Gertie, when she redid the plus size block, made the ratio a little bit more reasonable. Because I think a lot of people don't drastically have those measurements naturally. And I honestly, you know, a lot of them, I think they were talking about like Big Four. They haven't updated it since the 60s, I think, when I was doing some research. Like, basically when people still wore girdles. And I don't really intend on wearing a girdle on the daily anymore, so those aren't my measurements, you know? Well, and I'm an apple anyways, so I wouldn't be anyway, but I feel like, you know, talk about pattern, the traditional pattern ratios probably that people learn, haven't really been updated for the modern figure, if you will. So, because I think even if you're smaller, you know, unless you're really like an hourglass, most people I wouldn't say have those proportions without some sort of help. Or maybe if you do, but like you're not going to be like, what is it, 10 inches bust, 10 inches difference between your bust and waist, and 12 between your waist and hip. Something like that. So that's the traditional. Um, and no one does that without help, I don't think. Like, unless you're genetically special, like, he's a brick house. Like, unless you're like literally that person, then, you know, it's probably not. It might be, but doubtful. People are genetically blessed. You know, I don't know. I wish I wasn't an apple most of the time, but, you know, them are the cards that I was dealt. So, and you are a genetic amalgamation of all the people that survived before you, so, you know, be grateful, right? I was built to make it through the cold German winter, not, you know. Whatever. Or Polish winter, I guess it would be now, but whatever. Or whatever. You know what I mean. But yeah, I wish people would be um I hope with pressure, because I think a big thing that's missing is like there's not a good there's not a lot of good learning avenues for plus size. I think even for people that are doing fashion in any capacity. So it's all uncharted territory. Like I've read a lot of books on fit adjustments and um looked at different things, and at this point I've developed my own method because a lot of the rules get thrown out the window when you're plus size. So, you know, they're more like guidelines, right? I was built to survive famine. Yeah. Yeah. Right? Right. We survived. We're the amalgamation of all the people that survived. So, I need to do the best job of that tip there. Oh, not the tip, but like. Anyway. Last piece. Oh, yeah, no worries, Carol. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it. Yeah, see you next week. Yes, I know we're getting down to the last half hour here. Where did the night go already? I feel like I haven't gotten any shirt together. But yeah, if you're enjoying the stream, the like button. I appreciate it. I have to do the YouTuber thing. We've changed people in the last half hour. I always appreciate it. First stream back, we're doing our best. A little like small group tonight, but hey, like the core people, I always appreciate your support. So hope you're semi enjoying it. I feel like this hasn't been the most riveting stream, but hey, I feel like you're getting controversial opinions out of me tonight, if anything. Like, you want to hear my hot take on anything else? The last chunk, anyway, with the serger. And we'll get into the nitty gritty here. Oop. I know I don't have to lift the foot every time. I just think it does a better job of stopping and starting when I do that. And it's just force of habit, honestly, probably at this point. Doing it on my sewing machine for years and years. I know some people are such whizzes on their serger. And do everything on it. I was impressed by that. I'm like, can barely sew a straight line still, but we're getting there. What practice is for, right? Alright, so there's our final sleeve. Yay! And I have string all over me. Alright, I am going to turn this puppy off. Over this thing, my dude. And unplug it. I usually just leave my actual cord plugged in and just have the end over here so I can, like, grab it. Not grab it, obviously, because I have a small space here. I'm not one of those lucky people that has a table for my serger and my sewing machine. Oh, geez. Enjoying the reprieve from listening to the videos hubby listens to lately about the Bud Light controversy. Yeah, that's terrible and also ridiculous. Like, I'm just like, you realize that it's all like marketing, right? Either way, it's all marketing. Like, I mean, any mainstream support at this point for the LGBT community is important. Yes, see the dress? See the dress. I will say, like, I know Gertie said that this is supposed to sit, like, on the boob, like, half an inch. Mine sits more like a full inch and then some. So if I was to make this again, I would go up a cup size. Just FYI for anyone making it. I think it's a bigger gap in plus. And I'm not a fan because, like, my actual boob ends there. And I know that's, like, kind of how she designed it, but I think for me, I would have gone a bigger cup size. Also, this piece is an absolute bitch to sew. This little, like, whooped up part. It took me like 4 tries to get it right. It was just the time on camera. Yeah, so if I was doing this again, I would do it like the way you sew like a V-neck t-shirt or something. So I would sew this first before you get to the gathered part straight, and then like with a straight stitch, and then do the rest with a zigzag all the way around once you get this perfect. It's still not 100% perfect, I think, as I stretched it as I was dealing with it. It's a lot better, but that's what I ended up doing. I haven't made the night and day dress, no. She hasn't put it out in plus size yet, so I haven't made it. We keep begging her to, on every time she's like, what pattern would you like to see next in plus size? I'm like, the night and day dress. Because I really want to make that one, and I really want to compare it to the other cashmere one I made. So yes, but I would really like to make it. So if you want to put in more votes for that one coming out in plus size, because I know she expanded it. I think she expanded it up to the size 20, which technically fits me, like in her expansion, like that last like little expansion she did. But the problem when she did that one was it wasn't a new block, and so she stretched her old block, and so it's pretty off. Like, it's not right. Was drastically larger than it needed to be. Like, the fitting is not great. So with the new plus size block, it fits, like, most of her stuff fits me pretty close to like bang on, other than like things that are personal to my body. I consider like normal, like my narrow shoulder adjustment. You know, and I have a pretty short torso, so that's usually a thing too. So yeah, so those are my usual like birdie adjustments. I might back off the darts a little bit because I don't usually wear like the super pointy retro bras either. So so there's like a couple things, but you know, that's all unique to me. The new block itself fits a lot better, so I've been waiting for her to bring that out. I was really excited to see the scout dress come out, though. I was super excited about that. And I think I will order that next time I put in for patterns, because I don't know if you've seen this one hanging around for a bit. This is a true vintage pattern that I've had on the docket that I really like. And it is basically the scout dress with the new 3/4 length sleeve. So I am stoked. So I don't have to grade this like 1,000 sizes approximately to fit me. So that's really exciting. Still has the really small waist. It's actually not that bad if you look at the measurements. I don't actually have that much difference between my waist and my hips, and I don't have to make any waist adjustments for the new block. So yeah, so it's been good. Like this one I didn't make. Actually, I think I would like the waist a little bit tighter on this dress, to be honest, but say the Rita, I just made it as is in the new size chart. So if you look at what forget what the difference is, I could probably go look it up, but it's not nearly as drastic on the new block that goes up to the 34, I think it is. I mean, that was a bit of a shock. I went from being a 20 to being a 30 in her sizing, but it fits a lot better, so I don't care, right? Yeah, I usually wear. I think this one I'm making the 30 HG H/G cup today. Is what I'm making. But yeah, a waist is pretty easy to adjust too, because you can grade on most things, and then if you need more in the front, you can always let out the darts a bit too, and that's always a pretty good way of doing that. And then match up with a bigger size in the skirt. Like you'll want to remeasure and then make sure your skirt pieces match up, of course, but usually not the. I would go with grading. Grading's usually the easiest way to do it. You can always grade out a couple sizes in the waist. Especially when you have enough wiggle room, that's the thing. Like, I don't even top out in her. Like, there's still 2 more sizes in her patterns above me, even. So, it's easier for me to just, grade out the couple sizes that I need to in the waist then. But I don't actually have to. I pretty much make a straight size 30 in her patterns. If I was making a pencil type skirt, I would probably grade down in the hips, but I don't often make pencil skirts and that because I don't really like it on me with my inverted triangle type shape. So yeah, so I don't usually like it just doesn't help me. It doesn't balance out my figure, let's put it that way. So I prefer at least an A line if I can get it, so it's not usually an issue. I don't usually grade back down. But what was I doing? Right. Catching pieces. Catching pieces. Alright. Yep, Mr. Junk. Alright, so the way I'm gonna do this, already gonna go off script. So the way I'm gonna do this to start with is just attaching all my large seams. Except for, so she has you do this thing called she's calling it a butterfly, where her facing and the front point meet. So at the front here you would have where this notch is and your facing is, you would have both of them meet and you'd have to pivot. So what I'm going to do is not that. I'm just going to sew my facing on later and fold is what I'm going to do. So because I think that will give me a much crisper point because it's way easier to line up. So I'm not quite sure why. I might regret this. I'm not sure why she would have recommended it to do it that way. It's a lot easier to do things on the flat. So she has you do the sleeves in the round as well, even though it's a raglan, which to me makes zero sense, because you really don't need to put yourself through that pain. So what I'm gonna do, this is my back piece here. So I'm gonna take my back piece, and again, that's the piece with the double notches. That's double notch. Match up that. Still on. I'm not frozen, am I, guys? Okay, we're good. Looked like it froze for a second, and I was. I haven't had any technical difficulties today, knock on wood. So. Oh. Oh, I was gonna panic for a second there, but fine. It's totally fine. That's not. I got this a little stretched out with my finger. One thing you do have to be careful of when you're doing that is sure that your serger isn't stretching it curve because it's on the bias as you go here. Trying to wrangle these. Straightened out. Oh, not on camera. Not on camera. Funny, the lighting looks way cooler on camera. Alright, so I'm gonna pin my back in my. See that right? Guys. Okay. Just as we talked about earlier, how do you know which side's the right side? I put my marked side and my marked side together. So that would make my wrong side face out, which isn't that big of a deal if you get them all the same. On this fabric, again, you can't really tell. Oh, but I sewed my dart the wrong. Oh, no. Yeah, that would have been. Okay. That would have been bad. Would have had my seam on the wrong side with the dart. It's fine. It's the best of us, right? Why you watch me, right? Realism. I think we said that last time. I think I say that every time. If you wanted polished and precise, you wouldn't be watching my channel where I swear and. Although I've been doing my best. I've been very good about the swearing. YouTube's lightened up again a bit, but, you know, we're trying to be better about it. have like I should make some sort of. I've been trying to. I should look in the widgets and see if I can get it figured out. Have some sort of charity swear jar. Yeah. I'm excited though to get back in the swing of things here. Uh, Hopefully we'll have some new. Now that I'm back from my trips, I'll be able to put out some new channel stuff. Let me know too if there's anything like main channel burning you really want to see like an adjustment or something for. Like I say, I've got some stuff planned pretty far out, but I don't know. I've been having trouble figuring out which thing I want to put out first. So if there's anything particular you want to see from me, I think would be helpful. Glad to hear it. Next one I am putting out, we'll see if it comes out next week. I'm really hoping I can get it done for next week. It's so simple that you'd think I would be able to, but editing is. But yeah, next one is a no pattern skirt. So, and that one's a really good beginner project if you guys are looking for something, or just a palette cleanser, something that's not going to hurt your brain. So, did I just pin it back the way I got it? Try if I did. No. Okay. We're good. We're good. Okay. Notches on the outside. Dart on the outside. Cool. Right side to right side. Beautiful. My thoughts to your thoughts. Right. Like a Vulcan mind meld with my fabric. Okay, back, sleeve, front on. Sleeve, not a front. There's the front. Held by this crazy ass collar piece. Okay. Do I use a crinoline under my skirts? I haven't so far. Mostly because I don't like being itchy. I do have one sitting in my Amazon cart though, so I might have to get one the next couple projects. I'm doing some really retro couple projects here, so I might have to get one. I'm hoping to make a petticoat too, so that'll be really fun. Got some really fun little edging lace. Gonna live my best Sleeping Beauty life. So, not usually is the end. I don't usually go. I don't know. I like to be comfy. I work from home. So a lot of the time I feel like I'm not on Serena's level, let's put it that way. I'm not wearing my not going full vintage every day. I mostly have I like vintage inspired things, retro inspired things, but I don't usually do the full nine. I might get there. I feel like my favorite era is 70s though, so that doesn't really. Well, crinoline doesn't apply really, but. Am I pinning this to the right? Yeah, that's the sleeve. Let's go. My work from home, you resemble a child of the 80s with leggings and oversized t-shirts. Yeah. I feel that. I have definitely worn that for sure as I work from home. I feel like I don't love leggings generally. I do have some that I don't mind. I've gotten a couple better pairs lately, but not much of an athleisure person, but I definitely have like, those Saint Fleur knockoff skirts that I made. I wear those like a lot with like a t-shirt. Um I'll also wear like, yeah, I wear a lot of like elastic waist skirts. Um elastic waist skirt and a t-shirt is pretty much the Ashley uniform at this point. Um or I'll wear like, I've got some dresses that I wear around the house too. I do want to make some more like house dresses. Maybe more like casual shirt dresses, that sort of thing. Because I do like being put together to a certain extent, and I do have to be on like, I don't have to be in Zoom all the time, but a few times a week usually, like on camera. Um, so talking to people. Lined up. Yeah, I stretched this. Looks like I got this one little seam stretched out a little bit, so I'm just trying to make sure I've got it pinned back in place. Well, again, me and the serger, man. Not perfect, but it will be. Yeah, contrary to making all these skirty pieces, I don't usually dress. I don't know. It's funny. I feel like I take them and make them look more my style. Is usually a little bit later. This one I didn't cut out the other piece for. I actually saw a top that looked a lot like this in a 70s book. They just wore it untucked. That was the difference. So, and they actually had a sash for it, so I think I'm gonna make a sash for this as well. I don't know if you guys want to see that on camera, where I'm just making like a tie belt. I don't know if you guys would be interested in that, but I was gonna make a tie belt to go with this top. Um, Eventually, is that, yeah? Like I say, it looked like one I saw in a 70s book, so that's kind of why I decided to make this one. Actually, when I first saw it, I was like, that's not my vibe. But then when I saw it later in actually a 70s pattern that was very similar to this, I was like, oh, I could be down. And then I saw it with the she styled it with the artist apron, and again, that looks more like they did 50s styling, but like the lines to me look more 70s, or like kind of cottagecore. So um again, I like kind of jumped on it from that angle. I was like, that looks really cute with the pinafore. So, and since I already made that on the live stream here, um, but yeah, since I already made it on the live stream here, I was like, this would be really nice to go with it, because I feel like, I don't know, I still am a little bit unsure about the pinafore, but I do really like it. Part of me feels like an overgrown toddler in it, but it is really comfortable. So, Oh, hi, hi, Cypra. Cypra, am I saying that right? I know you told me how to say it before, but I appreciate to see that you're back. I appreciate you coming. Um, oh, yeah. Can I ask how you cut your elastic waist skirts? I looked at the circle skirt pattern, but they never seem to work well with having a 51-inch waist. Yeah, so actually you can go back, like, not to like advertise my own stuff, but you can go back to that Sonde Fleur inspired skirt that I made. That one's an elastic waist, and I have a full video on that. But basically I cut it so that It's larger than my waist measurement, so I usually cut it to, like in my case, because I only have like a 4-inch difference between my waist and my hips, I usually just cut it to my, like, as if I had my hip measurement as my waist, and then put an elastic in it, and that allows me to pull it up over my waist, or like up over my hips to my waist. So if you have a larger waist to hip ratio, like say you're much over that 4 inches, I'd say even like 6 or so would probably be okay. If you are more like 10 inches difference between your waist and your hips, you might want to also add a zipper. Like just go up like say 2 sizes and just add a zipper. But that's usually what I do. So, and then that's just like super comfortable. And it's like when you're wearing it, it's not so much elastic. I'd say the green one that I made on the live stream, because it's a heavier fabric, that one looks a little bit more elasticy, but the thinner plaid one I made in that video, that one you can, it's pretty smooth and still gives you the nice look of a circle skirt, but then it's just a lot more comfortable. Oh, hi Kimberly. Oh yeah. Oh, thank you so much for catching all the previous ones. I do really appreciate that. I know that's amazing. You were amazing. Um, I feel like they haven't been as educational as I would hope at times, but we're doing it. And I'm glad you like the chill vibes, and I still appreciate you coming even though you're late. Hopefully I'll be back same time, same station next week. Okay, yeah, same hip and waist. Yeah, so you could just go up like, I would probably go up like maybe 1 to 2 sizes in the circle skirt pattern. Um, I did use one from Charm. Again, you don't have to. You can always use like a calculator as well, but I find a lot of the calculators don't go up large enough for size. Unfortunately, they like say you don't have enough fabric in the world to make that happen because they want you to all cut it like not one half and the other. So yeah, so I did use the Charm. It's a free pattern. It's a free circle skirt pattern, and I did use that one to make it. And that one again, what does that one go up to? I think that one goes up to a 56-inch waist. I could be wrong. Um, sounds right, but could be wrong. But yeah, so I would maybe go up like a size or two, and then just add some elastic until it's tight enough, and to how like you're comfortable. Yeah. Maybe I'll go from here. I'll go from here. So yeah, because I've only got 5 minutes left. Yeah, I've just been chatting and not actually sewing. Sorry, guys. Got all sidetracked. Sidetracked reading the chat. Let's stop. Let's like finish off with some good sewing here. So I'm just gonna do. I've got one sleeve, and I'll keep going. Then I'll pin the rest. So I've got back sleeve. You can see the dart in there, and then one of the fronts. And then I'll do the same. I'll attach to the back sleeve front. Let's just do half at a time. Let's not get too nuts. And let me up my stitch length here. I'm not sewing with the tiny stitch that I was sewing the darts in with. Ow, as I stab myself. Stabbed myself good that time. Alright. No bleeding on the fabric though. Good. Okay. Do some satisfying sewing for the last 5 minutes here. Let me know if you have any questions as I'm doing the last bit. Oh, I'm pressing on the wrong pedal. Be helpful if I was using the right pedal, hey? Using the serger pedal, that's gonna get me really far. Alright. Whoop. Fighting me, bro? Good. Okay. Oh, concentrate. Alright, there's one. And one. Copy. Fine, guys. It's fine. Wonky weird color piece out of the way. And not following her directions at all, so as I say, not as I do. So like I say, I think this is going to be an easier construction method. Famous last words, but I guess you'll have to stay tuned for the conclusion of if I'm correct or not that you can do it this way. Got that pin spot. Have a lot of pins in here, like I say, because I'm stretched that one side out a little bit. Not too bad though. Wanted to make sure I was getting it back into alignment here. Here we are. Right. So maybe I'll continue with this so we can actually get some progress on before I see you guys next week. But what we're gonna do, oh, you can kind of see what I've got going here. So there's the front, sleeve, back, and it'll be sleeve and then front again. This is the way I'm gonna do it. Again, totally off script from what Gertie's got going. So I'll probably attach that before we move on for next week. So I'll probably do that once we hop off here. But it is 9 o'clock. So we might just call it an evening for now. But I appreciate you guys coming back and tuning in after, I know, a little bit of a hiatus, but you guys are the super fans as always, and I really deeply appreciate it. Like I say, I would really appreciate if you would hit that like button before you leave. And of course, if you are subscribed already, again, you guys are my super fans, so you probably have, but if you would hit that bell, I'd really appreciate it because that'll get you notified for any live streams, or if I put up some polls of what we're going to be doing on the live streams. Yeah, so always really appreciate it. I always really appreciate you guys tuning in and again coming back with me after being off for a little bit, but yeah, I know we didn't make I feel like we didn't make much progress tonight, but we also did make progress tonight. Doesn't look like I have much of a garment together yet, but I thought it'd be fun to show a little bit of prep work and kind of, do it top to bottom, because I don't often show that. So, but yeah, let me know again. Leave a comment down below if you, you know, are watching after the stream too. Of any particular patterns you'd like to see, things you'd like to see from me now that we're getting going again, and I'd really appreciate it. Thanks so much. Thanks. Oh yeah, thanks Yor. Thanks for coming and participating. I really appreciate it. Um, but yeah. All right. All right. Thank you guys so much as always. Bye guys. Bye guys. Wait. Where's the yes? Okay. Really leaving now. Thank you guys again so much. Bye.